Hey, Product Boss. It's that time of year again. The holiday season is just around the corner. And here at the Product Boss, we are getting prepared early for the holiday season. Now, we know you're going to have a lot more than turkey and pumpkin pie on your plate later this year. So, we want to invite you to our free 3-part workshop series, The Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready and Recession Proofing Your Business. Now, these workshops are brand new and revamped, and we're sharing some of the biggest tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself and your business so you can 2x your sales without 2xing your efforts. And with talks of a down economy, we want to make sure that you feel confident and prepared to push through no matter what. Listen, Product Boss, if we've learned anything over the past 2 years, we know you've got this, and we're stronger building our businesses together. And honestly, we have way too much fun to call it work. So the first workshop kicks off soon. Head to theproductboss.com/holiday to sign up today, and we will see you in there.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey, everyone. I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-6-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey friends, we are so excited to bring back one of our most popular episodes with one of our founders. Now, Rachel Dunn of Rachel Dunn Jewelry has been on the podcast before. You may have heard her talk live to our community during our Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge. And her story is so incredible that we wanted to share it again with you. I think it's impactful. It shows you that anything can be done with the time that you have and with the types of businesses that you're growing. And we just think that it is just a game changer and excellent for this time of year. So let's jump into Rachel's episode. And so we're excited to have Rachel on today. She's Rachel Dunn Jewelry. Hey, Rachel.
Yay. Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're so excited to have you here. I know that we've seen you, we follow you on Instagram, and just, you're so supportive of the Product Boss, and you're in, a couple of our programs. And we're just really excited for everyone who joins us tonight and kind of watches. And if you all have questions, but to kind of see another perspective, because we've really been wanting to dig into different paths to profit for different product-based businesses and show that there's a lot of different ways that you can build your business and implement something, and it looks different for each business owner. So we're really excited to dig in.
Yay. Awesome.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. I love that you were a business that, I'll let you get more into your story as people are hopping on, but your story, you were already an established business and felt like you wanted more, right?
Yeah. I just really felt like there were so many opportunities out there for me that I just wasn't reaching out for. And I kind of needed the guidance and the roadmap to get there, because I knew I wanted to be successful and keep moving forward. And it was just finding the right tools to use to get there.
So let's jump in. Ooh, we've got a lot of East Coasters with us. Hey, y'all. In New York and New Jersey, it's raining over here. So I hope you're all, that's why my hair kind of looks like this. Hello, Becky in London. It's 11 o'clock. She said she stayed up for this, so we're really excited that you're here. Awesome. So Rachel, let's start off by you just telling everybody, and we'll have Jennifer drop in a link to your Instagram and to how they can buy from you, which I think right now is on Etsy. But let's tell everyone who you are and what you sell.
Okay. My name is Rachel Dunn, and I'm the owner of Rachel Dunn Jewelry. And I'm a jeweler, and I have been for a long time. And I make all natural gemstone jewelry, and I use sterling silver in all my pieces. And my best sellers are necklaces and earrings. And
I love how she knows this.
Yeah, right. She knows who she's talking to.
Good
She knows we're
job.
going to ask her if she doesn't say it.
Yes, yes. I did my homework. I'm like, I know I've got to do this. So I started my business online in 2018. And I got on Etsy like right at the end of the year. And it was kind of like I was that person who waited to the last moment. It was like the week before Black Friday. It was so last minute. But anyway, I got in there, I did it, and I said, I still want to move forward. I know I can do this. I just need to find the right tools. So I went through 2019 and sales were really slow. It was kind of like, ugh.
So you were just hand making all your jewelry and just selling it on Etsy only?
Yes. We used to do in-person markets, and we pivoted from that. And I say we because my husband helps me. We pivoted from in-person markets because in 2010, I got pregnant with my son, and my son is a young man with autism. So it's tough to take kids with you when you're doing these events. Yeah. But when you have a child that has special needs, it becomes even more of a challenge. So I was like, we can do this. We can do this online. So I really leaned into Etsy, and I just didn't see the momentum there. And then 2020 came around, and I really wanted to reach out, and I was like, there's more out there. I just feel that something else can happen from this. So I kind of started poking around, and I found the podcast. And I still even do the little jingle when the song comes on. I love it. But I got right in there when you guys were talking about MSM, and it was kind of at the end of a workshop. And I wasn't quite sure all the terms and what it was, but I was like, this sounds like it might be. But the doors are closing, and I knew that, hey, I'm going to keep following these ladies. They have a lot of good knowledge, and the people in the community here are really
amazing,
super helpful.
Yeah,
they're like good vibes all the time.
It's a good community. All of you watching right now, just so you know, you're all good people out there.
I know, and so supportive. And thank you, everybody, showing up to come and listen to this. So that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So 2020 was kind of crazy. We were at home. I was essential at my job. So I had a job, and then I was working in my shop.
Do you still have a job?
Sort of.
Okay. But do you work? So during all this time of you sort of growing your business, though, you had a full-time job?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am leaning into phasing that out.
Okay. But you were that. So for those of you out there, and let me know in the comments if you are currently have a full-time job or career and your product-based business is your side hustle, or let us know if you're a full-time product boss, because we get that a lot. I think there's that pressure. I mean, you have a child with special needs, as well as, it sounds like you're an essential worker, like you said.
Yes.
Plus trying to run this sort of like side business, which is you making things, right? So it just requires a lot of time, so you're incredible for one. But two, just to see that there's someone else out there that is kind of going through a lot of what a lot of you are going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know there are a lot of people out there, a lot of product-based businesses that do that job, and then they come home and then they work another 8, 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of respect for that, because the people that really put their nose to the grindstone and they have that 9 to 5, and then they come home, and it would be nice to sit there and just Netflix binge and chill.
Very few of us are actually Netflix binging.
America did during 2020. It felt like
Nina and I are like, we didn't learn to bake sourdough bread. We built out a whole survival kit course bundle.
Yes. So yeah, when you're working and then you come home and you're building your business and you're staying up late in the middle of the night because you've got to wait till the kids get to bed, or you're cleaning up dinner or whatever, those challenges are tough. But it's been great because I'm I'm like, I'm on my way out. I'm walking into my business full time now. And my husband is like, you've got this. You have the tools. You know where to go. If you need something, you have an avenue. You know what to do now. There's so much out there in the group. You can type any message in the group, and there's someone always cheering you on or saying, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that?
So
It's
you're talking about, just to put it in context for people, you're talking about the multi-stream machine group because you are an alumni
yes,
of that.
yes,
Which is definitely an added benefit because that's sort of one of the bonuses is that you all get this lifetime access to the Facebook group as well as the course. But and people here have said hello to you because I don't know what they called you, but
oh,
MSM buddies, right? So
yes,
there are little
yes.
pods
It
created
was so
in here,
nice.
right? There's buddies. Like you can get 24-hour advice and coaching because everyone is so giving
Yeah,
in that
so
community.
generous. And then Cass says, go Rachel's hubby because he's so supportive too. That's amazing. And to
Yes,
encourage you and everything. So you get into 2021 and you entered multi-stream machine at the beginning
yes,
of 2021, right? So walk us
yes.
through. So you went through 2020, things are still going slowly, but you know that there's
What were your
more.
revenues? Like 2019, 2020? Would you mind sharing? Are you cool with that?
Yeah, it was very low. And every penny I made, I put right back in the business
Mhm.
because I didn't have enough raw goods. It was constantly. So it was, I think, like $3,000 maybe in 2018.
Okay.
Maybe that's being generous. And then in 19, it might have been like 6 or 7. And then in 2020, we really leaned in and we're trying to say, it can be done. You just have to find the right information and move forward. So, with all the crazy that happened in 2020 and all the people shopping online, it did help my sales. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, this is temporary. I need to know what to do to keep going. I felt like when 2021 came, there might be like the valve would turn off.
Does anyone else feel that way? I know that in 2020, people got I think they were surprised that they could sell and that people were buying, especially online. And then I know when we were sort of exiting 2020, especially with a lot of students we work with and alumni and masterminders, like it worked last year because it seemed to work for other people, but they had the same fear that you had that in 2021, somehow the world would like a light switch, like Mina kept saying, like January 1st, 2021, it's all going to be over.
I really hoped. I was like, oh my God, soon everything will be done. The pandemic will be over. And here we are 9 months later. But you
Yes.
got into 2021 and you at that time, was that when you entered multi-stream machine was in the January time?
Yes.
Mhm.
I went into the new year thinking, I know I want to do this. You guys had talked about it. And I said, this is definitely my next investment for my business.
Were you making investments in your business or was it scary for you to invest?
I put a lot back in my business because I wanted to grow and I wanted to make it bigger. I wanted my own website, and I wanted to know more about Amazon, and wholesale. I had a couple wholesale offers last year at the very end of the year. And there was a lot of different places where opportunities came up. And I was like, ooh, wholesale. I need to know more about that.
Mhm.
And then Amazon. Is that for me? How do I know if it's not for me? But it was like a tool. It was like it covered it all. And the big, huge thing, I was doing a lot of ads on Etsy, and it was taking a lot of my profit away. And one thing I love, 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 love about MSN is the organic sales. That you didn't have to put in thousands of dollars into an ad budget. So I really leaned into the social media.
Mhm. A social
portion.
media module. Yeah. But before we go on, I want to make sure everybody knows that we don't actually teach on Etsy. So,
No. And that's what I
Etsy,
was trying to get away from.
yeah, yeah, Etsy is a platform. We don't actually think that you should get off of there at all. It's a multi-stream machine is really about adding to it. So then that way you have your, like we had mentioned earlier, eggs distributed into multiple baskets. So I love this because you know that when you are in 2020, a lot of people saw a faucet turn off, like what you said, right? They saw in person go away, or perhaps they saw, some other people maybe saw Etsy go away, right? So there,
Yes.
you could feel that there was a need for getting in front of different eyes. And so when you jumped into multi-stream machine, you said that you were just curious on all these different opportunities that you could have. And then where did you
Yes.
start? Where did you start? Where did you feel that you impacted your business when you jumped into the course?
And I want to just back up real quick because you're still selling, your main platform is still Etsy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's really interesting because as we know you've been sharing your success with us and we're so proud of you. But I do think what's interesting is that, and we always, like Mina said, we tell you not to turn off a faucet. Like we tell you not to jump a platform. If Etsy's working for you, keep doing it. And we want to give you other opportunities, other options. So what I find really interesting about your story is that you didn't necessarily need to find another platform yet, right? Like, that if these opportunities come to you, if wholesale comes to you, you can take advantage of that. But you've really actually used some of the pieces that you've pulled out of multi-stream machine to kind of optimize your business because you just hit like 1,000 sales on Etsy, right?
Yes. And, I was so excited and it was great. And I definitely don't want to, take away from that because I worked really hard to create that. And you kind of, when you are on different platforms, I feel like your clients, they really kind of get to a place where they're like, I feel comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you keep that open, but I really want to have a website and I really want to maybe it's 5 streams instead of 1. That was why I really wanted to make MSM a part of what I was doing because I'm like, I know there are other avenues to make more profits out there. I just need the tools. And it cuts down on your research drastically. Yeah. It really is a roadmap. And the systems portion, Mina, was fantastic.
Your favorite? I love to hear that.
That's module 2, right? So let's dive into that because what I really want to kind of bring forward for everyone here is because you're starting to really see the snowball of sales. You're starting to see your business grow momentum and gain momentum. And I really hear it in you that you're confident, right? Like you're feeling more confident in your business because you've identified your best sellers. But from a systems perspective, because just for everyone who's not a student in multi-stream machine, we talk about there's a lot of systems you can do. But the 4 that we really break it down to that we think are important to scale your business, to get onto other platforms, like their fundamentals are your pricing, your shipping, your inventory, and your photos. So I know you said that you kind of implemented a lot of those. So how did just implementing one module in multi-stream machine, how did that kind of like switch it in your business that then your business really started to take off?
It made me more aware of maybe some of the choices I was making in my business. It was like, this inventory, you need to kind of get rid of the inventory that doesn't sell and don't go back to that. And you don't need to make 500 different options. You need to narrow in on those best sellers. Because I would be like, oh, if I make this, it would be better. More people will shop for me. And everyone that talked to me and said, oh, you should make this. Oh, you should make that. I took them literally. But then it was just a funnel that money went down that never came back. Mm-hmm. So, and the pricing, how to price your products, that's a great one. It just is such a roadmap. It just really helped me. And the photos, I looked back at my photos that I used to take.
So do we. Like, not yours, ours. We look back and we're like, oh, goodness.
Oh, we all start somewhere, right?
Yes. And I upgraded things that needed to be upgraded. The photos needed to be upgraded. And I asked people's opinions about things in the group.
So by selling on Etsy still, by having upgraded photos, do you think that just what you learned there, for example, really helped convert people from discovering you on Etsy to then purchasing?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then from a pricing perspective, what did you learn anything with pricing? Because a lot of makers, I guess here's a question for you. As a maker, did you charge labor in your making process? Like, did you charge for your time, or were you really just thinking about like raw goods and all that?
I got into a bad zone. I did it first, and then for some reason, I went back to just pricing raw goods.
How many makers that are watching right now don't charge for labor or don't charge for your labor? Here's another thing. Again, my mom's a maker on Etsy. She's the opposite. She's like, my time is worth like $100 an hour, right? Like,
well, yeah.
That's my mother, right? So she's like, she didn't know how to price herself because she valued her time so highly and couldn't figure out how to then work it into the product. And then other people either undervalue their time or they don't include it at all. So I'm glad that people are writing that they're not necessarily doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard. And then you have self-doubt. Is it too much?
Yeah.
Is it not enough?
Right.
Would you pay more for this?
Yeah.
Are you overpaying for it? You start to get in your own head. And if you just go by the directions and stop overthinking, it is so much better if you just follow the process. And then I really started getting into all my numbers. I went down to every piece of material that I use for everything, down to a cost per label to put it on the package.
Oh, yeah.
And I dove into
Welcome to the pricing module.
Yes. And it was just like, oh, yes. And I was like, oh, people won't pay.
Did you use the costing sheet that we gave? Like, did you plug anything into that? Yeah, we have this incredible, I've used this for, I don't know, I feel like it's almost 20 years at this point. That's, maybe 15 years at least, maybe 17. But I've used this pricing sheet that we share. It's our cost sheet that we share with you inside of the course. It's a bonus without even realizing it's a bonus. But what it does there is it really structures and calculates for you and really helps you figure out like your raw goods, your labor, all these extra things there, plus markups. Like, what's your margin? How do you go from cost to wholesale to retail? Because how many of you, here's another question. We're not going to give away how to do all this because you have to be a student in the course. But how many of you don't feel like you're pricing correctly or marking up correctly? Like, are any of you just taking what you think your cost is and doubling it and selling that? Or, because that's the other thing. I think one thing that I'll tell you why pricing is so important to me for all of you is that I want you to be able to take advantage of opportunities. So like if Rachel in 2020, 2019 was making her jewelry and pricing it for like not including her labor, she's using expensive products, and then a wholesaler comes to her and they want to buy from her. Is she pricing at the right price for the retail price to make sense? Versus when you go through our program and you kind of figure these things out, you've built in the right margin that you can take that opportunity if it comes to you. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're going to have to skip wholesale because this is not a favor.
And sometimes people do have to skip wholesale. That's the thing is if you haven't built in your margins from the very beginning, you're just busy. So you're buying goods, selling it for what you paid for it. And then all of a sudden you're this really busy person that's not making profit. And that's the last thing that we want for any of you. So pricing is hard for everybody. The pricing module alone would pay for the course. So even systems altogether, they're only as good as much, this business is only as good as much profit you make. We want so badly for people to be profitable, And so you were talking about how you wanted your own website in addition to Etsy. You made 1,000 Etsy sales, which bravo, that's so amazing. And then another module that you had mentioned that you had had hopped into was SEO, which is search engine optimization. I thought the really interesting thing about you was that you used it for Etsy first.
Because we teach it. So one of the things that we teach you all inside of the program is about SEO, but how to use SEO to pull customers in, like for customers to discover you. And we walk you through it, and we walk you through this program in there, and it's a free program. And we were doing it more so to help people discover your website,
right?
For
Like
example,
a back door
in. Now, what I think is really cool about Rachel, and when we were talking to her, she's like, I use SEO. And I was like, but you don't have a website yet, right? She's building a website and she has all the tools she needs to try and figure out how to get people there. She's on Etsy. So let's talk about how you use that SEO module and kind of converted it for the platform that you're currently selling on.
So I would enter in the information that I was looking up, the keywords, the long tail. You can get into all of those terms with it. And Etsy advertises with all of the internet. So when you type in something that you're searching for, a lot of times you see that Etsy come up at the top.
Your listing.
And so, yes. So you can see it within Google. And Etsy uses Google advertising. So I used it because I felt like it was a great website. It was extremely economical. And it gave you all the tools to use to figure out what those keywords were. And I even felt like it gave me some that were like different and not as common, and that kind of niche things down a little for me and gave me more of an advantage. And then I can use those same things in my website when I get that going, and that's up. I went ahead and I've started my website, and I just haven't opened it up yet for people to purchase off of.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think what I love about your story and why I think it's important for other people to hear is that, and again, the doors are not open to Multi-Stream Machine right now, but we really, and this is our signature program. This is like, there's nothing else like this in the world for product-based businesses, where we teach many paths to profit, that each person has a different path to profit, which was the goal of this week of bringing on all these guests, so that all of you could kind of see different ways that our students and our alumni have kind of, each of them have a different life and lifestyle. They each live in different places, in the world, and they have different products, and they have different plans for their businesses and the way that they've implemented. So the coolest thing about our program, and why when you do sign up, friends, and you get into it, you get all of the modules all at once. You don't have to wait, right? Because, for example, Rachel's experience is that she jumped into the systems and she was able to implement change and kind of improve her business right away. Then when she decided, she's like, you know what? I don't have a website yet. Let me jump into this. And then I'm going to learn about SEO. But then the smart thing, the entrepreneurial thing, the way that you adjusted it was, you're like, okay, this is the platform I'm on. How can I take this information that I've learned and apply it to the way I'm currently doing business?
Yes, for sure.
So good. So great. I mean, the fact that you went from just a couple $1,000s to where you are now, I mean, is huge. And you did this on Etsy, which is even someone else's sales platform.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do want to go back to the numbers a little bit, because somebody asked 1,000 sales in one day. No, not 1,000. I mean, she hit 1,000 on Etsy, which is incredible, for
a part-time business, because she's a full-time mom to a kid with special needs. She's a full-time job. This is a side hustle that you're optimizing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's going to lead me to quitting my day job. And see, I'm so nervous about it, but it's going to be great. But it's going to lead me to a full-time product-based business. I just know this time next year, it'll be completely different.
So you had a really big jump right when you entered Multi-Stream Machine. So
yes.
Can you talk about, are you okay with talking about your numbers a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So you had started at $136 for January, right?
Yes.
Of 2020.
In 2020.
2020. So
yeah, yes.
Okay.
Can I ask you really quick? Do you know what your average price point was of your jewelry back then?
No, I know what it is.
Like $50?
$58 per item.
Okay, so let's say you sold 3 pieces of jewelry in January of 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mina, take it from there.
Okay. So $136 in January of 2020. And it was a crazy year, right? Like it was hard. So so what did you close on at January of 2021 then?
$2,000.
Yeah. So $2,000. I know that the reason why I want to say this is because how crazy is that? She over 10x her previous year. So a lot of times when we're making goals, we want you all to look at what you previously did to try to improve upon it. She has her own path, her own story, and she really improved her way all the way there. And then she bought MSM in January of 2021, but then still implemented so quickly that she was able to, come out of it.
Who buys jewelry in January?
Right. It's supposed to be like the slowest month of the year after Christmas.
January works well for some, but jewelry in January of 2021, it's also a product like that you could go that much, you could grow that much. So it's incredible what you did.
Yeah.
And each month from then on, so February of 2020, it was like $181. And then February of 2021, it was $2,300.
Oh my gosh.
So you just kept it going.
It was like, wow, because I remember at the beginning of the year, we looked back over 2020 with you guys and we did our good, better, best goals. And I told my husband, I'm like, we're going to meet the best goal.
What goal did you set for yourself?
Oh my goodness.
Because we're still in 2021. Okay. So,
yes.
All right. So what she's talking about. Okay. So what she's talking about is, you did the pay in full?
No, I did the payments because
payments. But you still
I did the payments.
Okay.
Yes. But I paid for it right away. It was like done.
Right.
Yeah. One pay because it was
what you made in January of 2020 was one of the payments and then cut to $2,000. I mean, listen, friends, like for $158 exchange for $2,000 back, it's sort of a no-brainer.
It's not from 90-Day Roadmap though. We ran through that good, better, best exercise.
On the podcast?
No, it was on Bosses and Breakfast, I believe.
It might have been because I follow you guys like every day. I'm so stalking you.
I love it. So what we did then is we talked, that's right. At the very beginning of the year, we said good, better, best goal. So all of you, if you want to share them, because we're in September, what's a good goal, a better goal, and a best goal? And so what Rachel did is she set that for the year because it was January of what would she want to hit, which is good, which we're usually like, it's something you already did. Like it's repeatable.
Yeah. So good is usually the same as it was the year previous. So her 2000, it would have been her 2020 revenue and annual revenue. So, and then her best goal, I like to kind of skip over the better because it's easier to meet in the middle. Then you go to your best goal, which is, you really need to strike something to make it happen, or you need to invest in something.
And it's typically maybe at least double of what you did.
Yeah. It feels like a stretch. So it's usually like 2x whatever you did the previous year. And then usually the better goal in the middle is somewhere in between 1.5, let's say. And then it makes it feel really doable because here's the thing, you actually have to take the actions to do it.
No, it doesn't just come to you. You just put it out in the world.
Put it out there. So are you willing to share your best goal?
Yes. So I think when we did because I wrote it down and I keep it with me because I'm like, these are the goals that are going to happen for me. So it was a 20% increase from before for the good goal. And then it was 40% increase for the better. And then 60% increase for the best. So right now, I'm hoping for 52,800.
52,800. That's amazing.
Wait 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Whoa. I was talking in the middle of that.
How accurate that was. It was 52,800.
Hold on.
I didn't round out. I just kept it.
Yeah.
So you believe currently in September of 2021 that you're going to go from having a $7,000 a year last year to having a $52,000 a year this year?
Yes, because each month has built on itself. And I took that money and put it back into inventory. So all my profits are building on themselves.
Happy holidays. Okay, don't think, Jacqueline, what are you talking about? It's still warm outside. I know, but guess what? We want to get you uber prepared for this holiday season because what we want is that you can get consistent sales, right? Have steady growth and keep growing your business beyond always having to offer a discount during the holiday season to drive sales. So, if you want to get prepared while it's still warm outside, you can jump in and grab 101 content ideas beyond the holiday discount. And it is a bundle of content prompts, tools, hashtags, and templates. And it includes a 3-month calendar with things to say every single day from October to December. It is so helpful. So go out, enjoy the sunshine, and feel uber prepared for the holiday season when you grab yours now. Just head to holidaycontentideas.com. Do you regret the $150 some odd dollars a month for the payment plan right now? Because you're still probably on that payment plan, right?
No.
Have you looked back and been like, can't do that?
No. Let me tell you something. I could find something to sell for that. You can't. You have things.
Yeah, right.
I will find something to sell for $150 a month to be able to pay for that program. $150. That's a cable bill for some people.
Oh yeah, that is a phone bill for a lot of people.
And then you add Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh, I have Apple TV now too. It's worth it though. You guys need to watch there's a
morning show.
No, physical. It's so good.
With Rose Byrne.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. I just want to bring that up because
you can find $150 probably in change in your dirty laundry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't tell my husband. He's gonna go digging through there.
Actually, you've lost your like stray beads in your laundry multiple times. That's
oh my God. I'm on my 4th pair. At this point, it's just like I lost count. But the thing is, though, like that's such a good question to ask because first of all, it's a write-off when you invest in something.
Yes.
Secondly, just thinking about when people make investments in their businesses, and you even as a very small business that you weren't making a lot of profit either because you were putting it back into your business, that you knew that it took investing because you wanted more, Yes. So, and I love that you have I'm so proud that you have your good, better, best goal with you because that's the kind of clarity that you need to have if you want to like really take responsibility for your results, right? So you got the tools that you needed, you got into the payment plan that you needed, you took the actions that you needed, and now you're getting to reap the rewards. It's amazing. And I'm so, so proud of you.
Oh, that's so great. It's just so wonderful to be part of this community. And it's a game changer. I mean, last year, it was nothing like this year. And I was so worried that the faucet was going to turn off. Like January and February and March, even the summer for me, everyone was like, it's slowing. It was slow because all the people were going out. They were just let me out of my house. I'm going.
Summer.
And the sales kept coming because I just kept doing more and more and more. And it's like MSN doesn't end. I go back to it a lot. I listen to it when I'm making pieces. So
well, I love
every
that.
time.
Clearly, you're not sick of our voices.
No. No, not at all. I listen to it and I'm like, I always catch something. I'm like, yeah. Or maybe I'm in a different place like now than I was, 6 months ago. And I think, oh yeah, that's a new thing. I should, take that on now because I'm in a different place.
100%. I mean, I want you all to think about that. So, 2 years ago, January of 2020, she was at $150 some odd dollars in that month of total revenue. And the next month it was like the same, more or less, right? And there's so many things that can hold us back. We're not making enough money. And obviously you did what a lot of entrepreneurs do. You gathered knowledge for free. You listened to podcasts, you probably watched YouTube videos, you probably read books. Like there's all the things that people do. You came to free workshops because like you said, you were in our workshop and missed Multi-Stream Machine that round. And then you signed up again in the next time. So there's so many things. And I mean, honestly, that's why Mina and I do these workshops their 5-day workshops, or not workshops, challenges, because we want everyone to have this opportunity to make some sort of simple change in their business. The cool thing though, is that you had a profit in January, or you were making money, you saw a little bit more money and you invested. But the fact that you went from, because let's say she just stayed at this $2,000 a month, she'd be a $24,000 a year business.
Yeah. Amazing.
So if we think about this, like she's gone from 2,000 and she's going to $52,000. I mean, that is humongous growth. And I just want to say, like, so all of you that are like, I made $7,000 last year, or I made $2,000 in January. Again, someone said, how much is MSM, which I can kind of get into, but I want to say, like, if we said for $1,500, because I think you're at the done with your payment plan pretty much coming up, but for $5,200 or for $1,500, would you exchange that for $52,000? Would you exchange like $150 a month for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 months? I mean, it's just bonkers. I would. It's like, take all of my money if you're going to like,
you're silly if you don't, because,
you don't even know that this is like possible, but you're all doing like you alumni are doing amazing.
And then just thinking about the compound effect of that, right? That's what I love about this story is that, we really started us at a small number, small in the stories that we've been showcasing, right? 150 or 130 or whatever it was. Then that's a really small snowball, but it took like the compound effect. And I love that you didn't get discouraged. You just kept at it. You continued your journey. You didn't let it stop you that I need to create a website first. That's my first thing. No, you just dove right in. You said, I'm going to use these modules. I'm going to use them on Etsy. I'm going to keep going. So it keeps moving. I feel like and moving.
This is like Greg or Annika right here. It's his Facebook user.
Probably. It sounds like one of their comments.
If it's not, I love you, whoever you are, because this is hilarious. So tell me who you are.
Awesome.
But the compound effect of that, because now it's going to, let's say you do meet your best goal, or even if you don't, even if you ended up at 24,000, well, that's this year. That's this year. It's only been 9 months.
Yes. And for jewelry, Christmas and the holidays, that's go time.
Yeah, it is. It's game time. You need to show up more than ever. This is why we show up for all of you during this time. Because once we stop doing the challenge and multi-stream machine closes and you missed it last time, we actually shift our whole team into support mode. We support the small businesses that are at their busiest time, because that's how we shift our the tone of even our team. We just go into support mode at that time.
Which is really why we launched the directory last year in October. And I know you were in the directory last year, you're in the directory this year. And so, and all of you will hear about that too. But when we know, we're not going to be like, hey, all of you show up for workshops and, free challenges while you're in the busiest time of year. All the service-based people out there, let them do all their challenges. We are very specific about when we do this, when we did the workshops, when we do the challenge, when MSM doors are open. There are so many conversations with the team about the amount of time that we know that you all need, that you go from discovery, that you go from sort of starting to get things going, which is why we started all the way in August and early September to get you, ready for the holidays, and why MSM happens in September, because when those doors shut, you have all the tools you need, especially those of you that sign up right away. You have all the tools you need to, like, exactly what, Rachel did, where if you just jumped into systems and, improved your pricing, the sales are going to come at the holidays, but you improve your pricing, imagine how much more, just one little tweak, how much more money you'll make over the holiday season. So it's just
probably all pricing and inventory, because if you don't have anything to sell, you have nothing to sell. Also, if your photos are ugly, you're not going to sell as much.
I gotta be honest.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So work on those photos.
Yeah. And then shipping, that just helps to keep you sane, because a lot of us don't like shipping. So, I mean, I love that you did do systems, because during the busiest time of year is when we tell you to stabilize with your systems, because you need to be making as much as you can during those times when you're in it,
Yes. And I used to cut my labels out.
Yeah, you did.
Order. And you know what would happen to me? I would hear Mina in my head going,
Yeah, I just went.
Shaking me by the shoulders. Why are you cutting your labels?
No. What are you doing? And so systems, got my printer, which you guys are you guys giving away the printer today?
Ooh. Oh, we gave it away yesterday.
But that was yesterday.
Oh, who knows? I didn't even know the iPad was gone.
Nina's trying to enter to win it.
So whoever wins that printer, it's going to change your life.
It's today. And I think we do the giveaway at 7, right? So you all can, I mean, don't stop watching this live, but if you haven't registered for it, go.
It is the Dymo 4XL and it is a life changer. And I mean, it's going to become your best friend for sure.
It is for sure.
Did you get one?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I kept hearing Mina go,
oh my gosh, still. I'm just like,
and I would look for my tape and I'd be like, where's my tape? And I could hear Mina go, you're wasting time looking for that tape.
Yes, everything in its place, you know. Also, you know what I'm going to start doing is I really, because I have another thing that I really love is my RoboVac. It's, what is that thing called?
The Roomba?
Yeah, the Roomba.
You named him something.
Yes, Cleany. His name is Cleany.
Aww.
And my brother-in-law, his name is Speedy. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know what I need to start doing in the community? We need to start naming our printers. So I'm still thinking of mine. So think about yours, okay, Rachel?
Okay.
And then we'll come back to each other.
She should just call it Mina.
No. Oh yeah,
Mina.
For hers.
She improves my systems.
Right, yeah, for her. I was like, why would I need another Mina in here?
Mina makes it happen. Yes, for sure.
So I just think, I think your story is great. I know. And
thank you.
Why I just think it's so important for people to reflect on this story and see that, you know, that you are still working another job. Did you ever feel, so, okay, actually, here's a question. $52,000 you're projected to do, right? And I'm sure, did you ever have that fear of growth? Like when you were like, oh, I could join Multi-Stream Machine, but what if this actually works? Like, did you have that fear? Because I hear that a lot. And let me know in the comments if you all feel that way.
So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You're wishing for that sale. And then when those sales start to come in and you start thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to handle this? I say, put that in the back of your mind and worry when it happens.
So were you able to handle it since your business has like 100 million percentage growth?
Yeah.
Yes. My husband and I were like, can you believe this? This is really happening. And he has all these plans. He goes, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we have this like building outside on our property. And he's like, I'm going to remodel it. We're going to have your studio all set up out there. And you just keep doing your thing. But he's like the support team at home.
I love it. Does he listen to the modules with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
And so do my kids. They're like, is that a ladies? Are those the two ladies, Mom?
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I do love to encourage the husbands if they're in your business to listen, because even in our masterminds, we encourage that, if you're a husband-wife team, to listen together, because there's a different filter that happens, that it's a different dynamic that happens, if the husbands catch something different than the wives, so if you have a business partner, it is great to have that person listen, because everybody has a different perspective and filter of what seeps into them. Just like how you were saying, Rachel, like sometimes you hear things that you didn't hear the first time, so it's super beneficial. It's like another compound effect.
Yes. And he'll come back and tell me things like, hey, Jacqueline and Mina said this.
I love them.
Don't
What's
forget.
His name?
Nathan.
I love Nathan. Thank you. One, to all the spouses out there that support their, product boss, entrepreneur, go-getters, like, thank you for being supportive. Because, not all of us have, I'm not saying my husband, we've been together a long time, but not everybody has a supportive support system, right?
And because he wasn't in the business with you, Jacqueline, he would get really annoyed when you would talk business 24/7.
I mean, especially client-based business, like, oh, this client, that client, So when I met Mina, he was like, thank goodness this girl has someone else to talk to.
Right.
But he can talk to you about plackets. He knows about cutting and markers. Like he's real good with fashion. So like he could totally handle his own because he's heard so much. But so I think, where was I going with this originally? But do you remember where I was going with this?
Well, you said one, thank goodness for the husbands that are supportive. And then you're going to go into
all that.
Two. Oh, was it investment? I bet.
Maybe not. No, but
like trying to read your mind.
It's my kid's first day of school today. I don't know even know where I am. But yeah, I just think it's what I was saying though is that, and by the way, Laura saying I will need a business partner. I tell this story often, but I used to think I needed a business partner. I went to school for fashion design. I have my bachelor's in fine arts. And I was like, what do I know about entrepreneurship? What do I know about business? Like at school, they trained us to go work for other people. And they used to say, go learn on someone else's dime, which I did. And when I started my own business, and I'm telling you, I was 10 and a half years into my business, charging someone $10,000 a month, to run their business, to launch their line, all this stuff. And I literally said to him once, I was like, yeah, I'm just not that good at business. Like I've always thought I needed a business partner, like for business, because I could do the creative. And he's looking at me like, you have this business over a decade. You're charging me $10,000 a month and you think you're not good at business? And I was like, oh, and so I think the thing is so a lot of you have a lot of self-doubt. And I think, and you've said it, this community in itself, especially the multi-stream machine community, one is supportive. So if you don't have a supportive spouse, don't have a business partner,
right?
Don't have
That's
friends
what I was
that are
going
in
to say too. Because a lot of us, not everybody needs a business partner, Laura. So don't think that you have something missing that you need to fill in with a business partner. Because just remember, every business
you need
partner,
a biz bestie.
Yeah, you need a biz bestie. You need a support community. Everybody needs support. Not everybody needs a business partner because there's lots of decisions that have to be made. And then also the profit is split in half, all of it. Okay. So not everybody needs a business partner because
there's resentment over there.
No. I love both my business partners. It's a marriage, but it's a marriage, right? So I'm married to my husband for Little Labels and I'm married to Jacqueline for the Product Boss. But I do believe that everybody needs to find their support because it is tough if you do not have that support. So if it means that you are in a community, like Multi-Stream Machine, where they're very generous and everybody's collaborative and we've been there through the highs and lows and everybody just has a shortcut and a shorthand with each other, then that's what you need to do because you cannot go it alone.
Mm-hmm. I love this,
Holly. Holly, that's so cool. She says, yes, this group has been my business partner. I love that.
Yes. And don't get me wrong. My husband is a great guy and he's very supportive, but the group, sometimes you just need to get in the group. And like you said, your husband may not want to talk about all the things and he'll be like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And then I'm like, well, I really want to ask this question. What do you think? And he's like asleep. So in the group, you can go in anytime. And there's so many positive people in there. That's what I love about the group because there have been other groups that I have passed by because you could see that they weren't as upbeat and supportive. And everybody needs to be lifted up. You just got to do it. It's part of living.
Yeah.
And you need to be in a place that's welcoming and happy. And that's the other thing I like about MSM. This awesome program has been so good because once you step into that investment, it doesn't turn off. It's you guys are still there. You're still present. You're still available. It's nice to go into the group and talk to people that are in the same module or have done the same module and say, hey, I was thinking blah, blah, blah. And you get that feedback. So it's nice to know when you make that investment, it doesn't go away. You can always go back to it. And you always can say, hey, today I feel a little out of whack. I need to just kind of listen to this again and see, and then step back into alignment.
And even, Annika yesterday, who, if you listened to her story yesterday, she went from $2,000 to $11,600 in a month after implementing MSM. And then
Yes.
it's less than a year later and she's making $40,000 a month. But here's what I liked, what she brought up. Now, listen, Annika works at our highest level program with us. Like she is in our highest touch, highest level. She's in our mastermind. And she has access to us. Like right now, if she wants to message us on our phones, like we could talk to her, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
cut to, she's thinking about getting on Amazon. So she doesn't need to work through like getting on Amazon with us. It's not even something that we would, do within the group. She goes back to MSM and she's like, oh, now I'm ready for Amazon. What do I need to know? And it's this reference point for her business to where it is now. So I think that's so cool. Also, that those of you that have signed up, I mean, any of you that are in MSM now that are watching live, is there anything that what did you start with? And like, what have you referenced back to X amount of months or years later? Because it's really interesting to see how you're all using it as a tool for different stages of business.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I have loved about this time around is we really knew that during this year, we would have to inspire all of you early, and we're doing it through all these different showcasing all these different paths to profit. But what's really interesting is that the people that have been in it longer have a secondary path too. So I would love to have you on again later on to see, like right now, you haven't been with us even a year. You've only been with us 9 months, so Annika has been with us for a while, over 18 months. And she had this other, that secondary part of her journey. So it's been great to see.
Yes. And Annika is such an inspiration. Her story is very unique and just inspiring so much. And her love for life and her energy is so good. And she's definitely going to make tracks in life. Her business will continue to grow just because of her personality and the way she communicates with people in the group. It's just, you have to like Annika.
Yeah. Oh, she's so great.
She's so great.
And
she's
so
exactly,
are you.
Yeah,
You're just as inspiring as she is.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just where you and where you are. And that's what I love, and all of you, the people I guess that we attract, Mina and I, are people who probably align with our values. Right?
Yes.
They're Mina's been in sorry, can you hear the drilling? James is like building.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
I thought it was in my house. Sorry.
He's drilling in the other room. But Mina's been in Amazon courses, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and your experience in these communities of Amazon, because that's like
I mean, when I first started doing Amazon courses and I learned that way, I love courses. I love investing. I've always been that type of person. And when I started, and these were $3,500 courses, $5,000 courses, but the group was just not my vibe. Like they were definitely super secretive. Like you never talked about your product for one, like you just don't talk about it. Second, it was non-collaborative. Like if you had to knock somebody off, you did it, and it was a whole bunch of men also that were just a different season of life. And just the energy felt so different. So that was something that when we created Multi-Stream Machine, we had the community with it and we had the podcast, I really felt like it was so different than what I had been a part of. Because, I mean, I'm sure we repel people too, people who hate life and don't love to laugh.
don't like to laugh.
Right.
And hate fun.
Don't think we're funny at all.
Yeah.
No.
Don't have a sense of humor.
God.
And, maybe think that we're, too simplistic or something. I don't know, So there's probably people who repel too.
That don't like life.
Right. Oh, gosh.
So before we wrap with Rachel, if anybody has any questions for her, drop it into the chat and we can ask her. I do like what Elizabeth just said. So she said, I've definitely increased sales since starting, but can't say how much because I'm behind on my bookkeeping with haha laughing face, which is hilarious. But this is what I love. This is the testimonial. Okay. But I now always have money in my business account and haven't had a supplement with my credit card or paycheck since I started, which means that she's profitable.
That is literally the definition of financial freedom is you don't have to worry down to the, nuts and bolts of your money, the nickels and dimes, Yeah. So that's amazing.
For sure.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm like
That's
to
great.
the team. I'm like, can you grab that and put that the page because
Yes.
this is so good. Yeah,
and I'm behind on my bookkeeping too.
Oh,
listen,
everybody is. Unless they
I want you all
hired
to be able to
somebody.
afford to hire people because takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Tanya says
Yes.
sometimes I will just re-listen to part of the module while I'm doing busy work for fun of it and always catch something new. Yeah, I mean, I go back to trainings because who knows where I was or what I pulled away from it, and then I implemented it, and then because courses, like there's so much information, and the whole goal with a course or something live, or you showing up tonight, some of you might have had an aha moment, right? Or showing up at a workshop or one of our live Q&As. It's just a little gem that you pick up, you put in your pocket, but then you actually can do something with that, right? Like you get to, or if we go back to the snowball idea, it's a tiny piece of ice that you then can like snowball, because it's the holiday season, into something bigger. And it doesn't need to start out big. It's something that you can get there. Oh, okay, here. I just started with this group and I'm constantly using my hubby's checks to supplement. What advice do you have? So Amber, you're using your husband's money to supplement in the business? Annika said this last night. Okay, don't take offense. Should I not say this? What Annika said about paying for things.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't think it's offensive.
Okay. Annika said, she's like, I didn't want to say it out loud, but she said it. So I'm just quoting Annika. So we all love her. But she was like,
we love you too. Go ahead. It's nothing bad.
She was like, if you can't afford to pay for the course, you actually need it the most, is kind of what she said. Right.
Yeah.
So if you're really, and I'm not telling you, Amber, specifically to sign up for the course, but if you're really needing to constantly supplement, our whole goal with all of you, especially those of you making $0 or like $2,000 a month, is our whole goal with you is that we get you to break even and profitable as fast as possible. Because what we know for sure is you will run out of money or you will run out of time. And typically time and money run out at the same time, right? So you're like, I have a year to get this up, or my husband won't let me put any more money into this because I keep taking money. When is this going to pay off? So what we really want all of you to do is to get you to a point of profitability, to get to a point of making money. So obviously Rachel's a good example of that, where, I mean, we've all put our own money into our businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
everybody has to, at the beginning, it's an investment. Yes. So the thing is though, I went through this yesterday, but I'm going to say it again. When you're the boss of your business, you have to really own it and know that there's certain costs. So then the whole time when you're thinking about costs, a lot of people are like, raw goods, this is the cost, but really when you're in business and you put on that boss hat, you have to learn what the return on investment is. So instead of looking at something that's like, this is the cost of it, it's what is the return on investment? And that's really what comes down to it. I mean, it also is a write-off, a tax write-off, like I've mentioned multiple times. But the thing with that too is that now you take it and you leverage that knowledge, because you're learning over and over and you're using it to take action. And sometimes it's slower and sometimes it's super fast. It just depends. Again, we all have different paths to profit. We all have different products, all of those things. But you just keep taking and investing the time that you've basically bought a shortcut to in the research, like what Rachel was saying, that is a shortcut to your time, with the research, and you keep going at it. You keep taking actions, because the whole point of multi-stream machine 2 is to test and try. You're testing and trying. And then you figure out, okay, this had a pretty good return on investment. I'm going to keep testing and trying some more, and you keep refining and refining and refining, because it's not a magic thing that you do it once and that's it. Sometimes it takes like a seasoned time, or, it has to be where you keep moving forward with it.
Yes. And it will get you there quickly, and it will help you not to have to ask your husband for distribution.
And I mean, that's the dream,
Yeah, you will be the breadwinner. And
I figured that was you, Greg.
For money.
Yeah. Greg is a marketing genius, so he's really good at the comments too. But and I think, and that's so Amber, for you, and actually let's wrap with this kind of conversation for those of you that are there. Okay. What kind of money? I'd love for us to think a little bit ahead. And what would your monthly revenue look like? We talked about this a few days ago, but what would your monthly revenue look like that you wouldn't need to pull money for the business at least to support itself? So what's the amount of money that you need in your business?
Think about your bank account. the amount of money in your bank account that you wouldn't have to keep asking your husband for his checks.
Right. So,
Yeah.
what does that look like? Because some of us are working from home. And so, home is home. Maybe we're not paying rent to home kind of thing. But there's raw goods, there's supplies. At some point, we want you to also pay yourself, right? So as soon as are you starting to pay yourself yet, Rachel, or not yet?
Yes. I take
Good
money out,
job.
and
Yeah,
it's
you
great.
do.
It's nice. I take money out now. It's so nice to be like,
What do you do? Do you get yourself anything? Like, do you treat yourself to anything, or
Yeah. Yes, I do.
what do you? What is one thing you treat yourself to?
Well, and it can be as small as like that awesome candy bar or that
Yeah.
really great drink
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
Starbucks. But I love, love, love giving things to my kids.
Mm.
My son, he likes things that other kids don't like, and just seeing his eyes light up and bringing joy to him, because it's just those little things that, like I don't shop for toys for my kid. My kid doesn't like toys. It's a part of being autistic, but he does like these other objects that you can pick up at a store that may not mean anything to an adult, like those Mardi Gras beads. He loves them. They're just perfect. But he just loves simple things like that. And the smile from the kids, like, oh, we can get this, Mom. It's so amazing to say, yeah, because Mommy and Daddy are working really hard and we're making a profit now.
I love that. We were talking the other day in Bosses and Breakfast. Were you at that Bosses and Breakfast where we were talking about fear and comparison and definition of success? It sounds like that's part of your definition of success, is that being able to easily say yes to your kids getting those things. And that's a part of, the reward that comes with it.
Yeah. I'm not a first generation, and I know y'all's story very well, but I grew up on a small farm here in Virginia, and we had a very interesting childhood. We didn't live lives like other kids in our area, and we had a lot of farm chores, and we worked really hard, and we had very little growing up. So, I teach my children, I'm like, you put that hard work in, it will pay off. So you can lean into that and really enjoy the things that you work hard for. And it's okay to enjoy them. Because I think when we were kids, you were taught to live a specific kind of life. You couldn't do certain things. You couldn't go out and do things. And you might have been like ashamed of certain things because you were different. And now I tell my children, I'm like, you can do anything you want. And you can have anything you want. You lean into it, you work hard, you move forward. It's so good.
That's beautiful. And I think, and that's the thing. So for all of you to just think through what will get you to break even, right? Pick that number as your first number if you're not there, right? You probably are not paying yourself yet, but I like to say, can you treat yourself to something? Like, one, there's education. We talk about how my life coach told me once, like, because she likes chocolate. And she's like, can you go to the store and buy yourself like a $12 chocolate bar? She just wanted me to do something that felt frivolous, right?
Yes.
Just as a treat. We all have a different level of treats. Like your son loves Mardi Gras beads, like there's something, each of us have something that makes us happy. It could be flowers at the grocery store. It doesn't really matter. We all have our own thing. So I think what I would love for all of you to do is think about that number that's going to get you to break even, and let's get you there fast. That's why we offer Multi-Stream Machine. Listen to the podcast, do the workshops, come to the challenge, all those things. Let's get you to break even. Then we want to get you profitable. Why? Because when you're profitable, you have money to reinvest, you have savings, you can pull a little bit of money for yourself. And then when you start to see that profit really start to grow, right? Like you've kept your overhead, like Rachel, right? Like she's gone from $2,000 a month to multiple thousands a month. And, she's able to pull a bigger profit or do something else with that money.
Or reinvest it.
Yes.
And then you get to choose what you want to do with it. And then you get to choose what you want to pull from it, because these are your businesses. Wow. Rachel's story is just so incredible. And we are so excited that we could share it with you again. Hey, Product Boss. It's that time of year again. The holiday season is just around the corner, and here at the Product Boss, we are getting prepared early for the holiday season. Now, we know you're going to have a lot more than turkey and pumpkin pie on your plate later this year. So, we want to invite you to our free 3-part workshop series, The Product Boss's Guide to Getting Holiday Ready and Recession Proofing Your Business. Now, these workshops are brand new and revamped, and we're sharing some of the biggest tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself and your business so you can 2x your sales without 2xing your efforts. And with talks of a down economy, we want to make sure that you feel confident and prepared to push through no matter what. Listen, Product Boss, if we've learned anything over the past 2 years, we know you've got this, and we're stronger building our businesses together. And honestly, we have way too much fun to call it work. So the first workshop kicks off soon. Head to theproductboss.com/holiday to sign up today, and we will see you in there. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.